Today, my wizard friends, we will make the best mold box ever.
Today I'm going to show you how to make this very easy and efficient foam core box. These boxes are great for making silicone molds. So the first thing to do is get the dimensions of the box I need, and I have it all mapped out here for this sculpture. It is 5 deep, 3 1/4 wide. I'm going to bump this up to 3 1/2 to give it a little bit more extra room. And then I just need the height of it. For the height, I like to go about 1 inch taller than the figure. So my height is going to be 6 1/4 inches. And what I'm using here is a 1/16 inch foam core, this transparent T-square, and a Sharpie. It's very important to make sure that all of the edges on your box are very straight and a 90-degree angle. So obviously just cutting along the pre-edged piece is going to give you a straight edge, but that is also where this little transparent guy comes in handy. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay out all the lengths of my walls down along this bottom edge. Starting over here, I'm going to go 5, then 3 1/2, then 5, and then 3 1/2 again. So I start by marking 5 here, and then I add 3 1/2, which is going to be 8 1/2 right here. Then I'll slide this down and do the same thing. 5 inches here, and another 3 1/2, which is 8 1/2, which comes to that point there. Then with the T-square, I am just going to run some perpendicular lines up the foam core. Then I'm going to mark my height, which I know is 6 1/4. So I'll mark this in a few different spots. There's 6 1/4 there, 6 1/4 here, 6 1/4 here. Then I can come in with something that's a little bit longer and heavier and draw a line across there. And then obviously these lines are a little short, so I'm just going to top them off a little bit. Next, I'm going to take the utility knife and just cut it out as one piece. So now I have all the walls with all the measurements on one nice sheet. So the next thing I'm going to do is very carefully slice along these lines, all on one side, but I'm only going to slice about halfway down, so I'm not going to completely cut through the foam core. So I'm going to use this heavier metal ruler to cut along. Don't cut along the plastic ruler. You'll really kind of chip and ding up the edge. I only use this one for drawing lines. I love this transparent tool. It's definitely a studio essential, as is this utility knife. You can always look in the descriptions, and I have links to all of the tools and materials I use for these videos. So I'm really just kind of gently scraping a super sharp blade across the top. I'm doing it a few times, so I'm being very careful not to cut all the way through, and I'm really just trying to feel for the blade cutting through that top layer of paper into the foam. You'll feel the difference between cutting paper and foam. And then what I do with each one of those edges is just snap it open like that. And the end result is you get a nice box. And if all your measurements are correct, the mold box should fit nicely over your piece. So just a couple more things here to finish the box up. I need to seal that one edge. So I press the edges down, put a little piece of tape there. Then I will do one more piece of tape on the other side. And then I will take one piece of the wider tape and really make sure that this edge is sealed. You want to make sure that there's no chance that any of the silicone is going to leak out of the box. But if you tape this side up really well, and if you made sure not to cut through the other side of the foam core, then all of your walls should be leak proof. So the nice thing about these boxes is they're totally versatile. You could create as many different walls as you want and really whatever shape you need. And then the last step for this video is just to match it to my measurements and with a glue gun, glue it onto the mold board. So I start out with the glue gun and I just tack it in 3 different spots here just to hold it in place. And this is just really to make sure that I have it kind of squared up with my drawing on the board. And then I come in with the glue gun and really just put a nice bead around the bottom of the plate. And this is why you really want to make sure that all of the edges of your box are flat. You don't want to create any space here for the silicone to drip out. Now, silicone will find the tiniest pin drop to leak out, so I definitely recommend you do a good job with the glue gun. And sometimes it might behoove you to come back to the corners and do a little bit extra on the corners. I've always been a little hesitant to recommend glue guns because they're kind of a finicky tool, and I've gone through a lot of glue guns that just haven't worked very well. But my opinion is just don't buy the super cheap glue gun. There's so many problems that could go on with these things. They could get too hot and just drip out of here. They could jam here very easily, not get hot enough and heat up the glue stick. So my recommendation is stay away from the cheap ones, get something that's a little bit more expensive and a little bit more reliable. This is what I have in my studio. This is like a $20 glue gun from AdTech that's worked really nice for me so far. And then I have this Ryobi, which I love. It's a cordless glue gun. It is a little bit bulky, but the fact that I don't have to have a cord running through my studio whenever I want to use this, I think is totally worth the trade-off. It looks a little funny here because this has been modified to fit my DeWalt batteries, because that's kind of what I run in my studio, mostly DeWalt tools. But both of these I recommend, and there is a link in the description if you want to check them out. A couple other things to say about glue guns. Glue sticks come in a lot of different diameters. This is a 0.44 diameter, but they also come in a 0.45 and a 0.46 and even a 1/2 inch diameter. So it's very important that you figure out what glue stick fits your glue gun. A lot of the times the people that are having problems with this jamming here, either not feeding in or having to push it in manually, it's just because they aren't using the glue guns that are fit for their glue, the glue sticks that are fit for their glue guns. You know, these glue sticks are made by AdTech specifically for the AdTech glue gun, so that makes it very easy. And one more thing to point out, these are kind of standard glue sticks, but you can also get these heavy-duty glue sticks, which are a little bit more yellow. And if you want to really secure something with a glue gun, those yellow sticks work great. And since I'm talking about tools, I thought I would explain how these retractable knives work if you're not familiar with them. I have a whole drawer full of knives, razor blades, X-Acto knives, carpet knives, But this is one of my favorites, and one of the reasons is because you can get this really long blade, so it's great for cutting styrofoam or corrugated cardboard or anything that's got a little bit of thickness to it. You buy the blades in a refill box like this. All of them have some kind of opening somewhere where you open it up and you put a new blade in. And the beauty of these blades is that if it starts to get dull or gunked up with something, if you look closely, you see these little lines running down there. You just very carefully take a pair of pliers, the blade at that line, and you get a fresh, new, clean blade. So definitely a must-have for my knife box in my studio. I think that wraps up this demo. There will be 2 follow-up videos to this one. One of the videos I'm going to go into detail how to split the mold down using a scalpel with something called a jeweler's cut. And then a third video that will actually show the entire process of this piece getting poured in silicone and then cast in resin. So a demo, a complete tutorial on pouring a one-piece silicone mold.
Hello, my... Quiet. Be quiet. Shut up. Hey, quiet. Hey!